I awoke with the grain in my palm and the chisel at rest. A plank on the bench and a knot in its chest. The kettle sang thin while the daylight spread, and I laid out my colors like a deck of cards red. Ash in the board, oak in the flame, pine for the frame, and a nick in my name. Then the first strike rang, then the second one too, like the whole old room knew what my hands came to do. One for the sawdust, two for the stain, three for the brush and the bread through the grain, four for the resin, clear as rain. Count it out, say it again. One for the sawdust, two for the stain, three for the brush and the bread through the grain, four for the resin, clear as rain. Say it loud, say it proud, say it again. I shook the tin lid, I cracked the seal, gold in the jar with a slow blue peel. I poured that amber where the daylight bent, and it moved like a river through the cracks I'd mended. My thumb wore red and my sleeve wore green, my nails caught paint from the year between, and every small tap from the mallet's face kept time like a heel on a timbered floor page. One for the sawdust, two for the stain, three for the brush and the bread through the grain, four for the resin, clear as rain. Count it out, say it again. One for the sawdust, two for the stain, three for the brush and the bread through the grain, four for the resin, clear as rain. Say it loud, say it proud, say it again. I cut my line from a crooked old board, found a song in the wedge and the bite of the cord. The room went warm when the spoke shape bit, and the offcuts danced in the corner of it. There was red on the rag and white on the rim, a little green smear on the edge of the trim, and every tool on the table had a story to tell, like a prayer in the rough, just like a bell in the well. One for the sawdust, two for the stain, three for the brush and the bread through the grain, four for the resin, clear as rain. Count it out, say it again. One for the sawdust, two for the stain, three for the brush and the bread through the grain, four for the resin, clear as rain. Say it loud, say it proud, say it again. When the varnish dries, let the whole thing shine. Let the scars hold gold in the evening light. I was made from the shavings and the settled dust, and the work in my hands was the work of us. One for the sawdust, two for the stain, three for the brush and the bread through the grain, four for the resin, clear as rain. Count it out, say it again. One for the sawdust, two for the stain, three for the brush and the bread through the grain, four for the resin, clear as rain. Say it loud, say it proud, say it again. Tap it down, let it hold, let it stay. Brush by brush, we paint the day. Tap it down, let it hold, let it stay.
hello. There we go. Okay, now let's stop the music. Oh, hello again. Plan for tonight. We're going to touch up a few areas on this red panda, go over some of the black with more black, do a little touch-ups on this. And then if we get done with this and it's not too late, I'm going to start this diamond art here. We'll start doing. Ooh, my upper camera is really wonky. That's not supposed to be that way. There we go. There we go. So, like always, I have a playlist of videos put together. There's no way we're going to get through all of them, or even many of them. I try, if I start a video, to finish it on stream to give the person credit. Also, it'll pop up when we switch views, but there will be a play down at the bottom. Well, here, let me switch to it and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Where it says now playing, you're going to start to see at first a couple warnings, but then it'll be lists of the names and titles and the link to our playlist. So right now I have some war fronts queued up. Give me 1 second because I have to get my remote. Ugh. Okay. And then almost forgot to put that down so it's not louder than me.
8 short months ago, the world witnessed one of this century's worst massacres. After roughly 550 days of siege, the Sudanese paramilitary rapid support forces overran the city of El Fasher in Darfur, unleashing a wave of bloodshed. Exactly how many died is unknown. Lower-bound estimates suggest that 6,000 people perished in 3 days. Higher-bound estimates put the figure closer to 100,000 people killed across 6 weeks, with most analysts settling on a mid-range estimate of at least 60,000 dead. In an interview with Sudanese radio station Dabanga in January, Nathaniel Raymond of Yale's Humanitarian Research Lab put the numbers in context, quoting, El Fasher is, given the numbers we have now, speaking conservatively, a mass casualty event that rivals the initial death toll after the atomic bombing in Nagasaki. End quote. Now, if you've been following this channel for a while, you'll know that one of our regular themes is how the world is not paying enough attention to Sudan's civil war. That is insane, considering it is one of the worst conflicts on Earth, and it's mostly going just unreported. And now, we may be about to, once again, witness the consequences of that ignorance. As you watch this, the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, seem to be preparing for a major offensive against their opponents, the Sudanese Armed Forces, or SAF. The target is the city of El Obeid, which has spent much of the previous 3 years under a state of siege. Should it fall, the fear is that it could become another El Fasher. This is not hyperbole on our part. The UN Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, specifically name-checked the city in a recent warning about El Obeid. Nor was he alone.
Like
the UK Foreign Secretary
white.
sounded a similar alarm, as did the government of France. But the comparisons with El Fasher should go deeper than just worries about similar levels of bloodshed. Prior to El Fasher's fall, aid groups, analysts, and Sudanese journalists warned for months about a looming genocide. We even published videos on this very channel trying to get the word out. Yet it was all for naught. The UN, the African Union, the EU, the United States, heck, everyone in a position of power just chose to look the other way until it was too late. And now history may be about to repeat itself. Unless someone does something soon, the world may be about to witness yet another massacre. Tightening noose. Now, as warnings go, they don't come much starker than that recently issued by Critical Threats to quote, "The RSF is setting conditions for an offensive on the SAF-controlled city of El Obeid in North Kordofan, which is a major operational objective for both sides as it is key to control of central Sudan and breaking the current stalemate." End quote. A commercial center of roughly 500,000 people, El Obeid has the misfortune to sit at a crossroads connecting some of Sudan's most important locations. To the north and east lie the capital of Khartoum and the fertile, heavily populated lands between the White and Blue Nile rivers. To the west lies most of the current frontline region of Kordofan, and beyond that, the RSF stronghold of Darfur. To the south, the main highway runs all the way down to the besieged town of Dilling, and further south, the main territory held by the RSF's allies in the SPLMN. El Obeid is even the site of a key pipeline that brings oil up for export from neighboring South Sudan, whose government is increasingly, if unofficially, aligned with the paramilitaries. So you could probably see why both main parties to the conflict might want to control the city. Indeed, you could argue that the RSF have been trying to take it for over 3 years now. We use that slightly ambiguous phrasing there because the paramilitary's initial designs on El Obeid seem to have been that it was a nice-to-have rather than a key target. As the Sudan War Monitor notes, the RSF initially bypassed it in their rush to capture Khartoum, a city they held for 2 years before finally being dislodged by the SAF at the beginning of 2025. But bypass doesn't mean ignore. Although the RSF didn't bother to attack El Obeid, they did isolate it from the rest of Sudan, cutting off the highways and establishing a siege. This was only broken after the paramilitaries were routed in Khartoum, allowing the SAF to drive onwards down the highway and establish a resupply route. These were the heady days of army victories, when it seemed like Sudan's military leader, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, might emerge as the civil war's victor. But then came late 2025 and a major shift in the West. After holding out for over 550 days, El Fasher fell to the RSF, the last city in Darfur to be conquered by the rebels. With their forces freed up to redeploy east, the RSF focused on driving the army back from its gains in Kordofan. Overextended and exhausted, Sudan's military retreated to consolidate its hold over El Obeid and the highway running down to Dilling. Fast forward to today, and the city is once again under siege, with the SAF holed up alongside its 5th Infantry Division. The Sudan Tribune reports major RSF buildups to the south, west, and north of the city. Meanwhile, videos have surfaced of their troops issuing warnings about what will go down in El Obeid. To be clear, this is not yet a siege like we saw in Al Fasher. There, the paramilitaries methodically surrounded the city, built earthen berms to stop people escaping, and then finally fought their way in after a long campaign of bombardment in which the starving population was reduced to eating grass to survive. El Obeid isn't in quite the same position. The city is still tentatively connected to the other besieged town of Dilling via a side road that the army reopened back in January. While the road is extremely dangerous to use, it's not quite a complete cutoff. Nor are roads out to the north blockaded and utterly impassable. It's more that the RSF has some degree of fire control and can hit and destroy vehicles attempting to resupply. Then there's the military situation. Sudan War Monitor reports that El Obeid is heavily fortified with extensive trench systems, while the Sudanese Air Force is still able to fly sorties and bomb RSF positions around the city. The Allied Joint Forces are also conducting foot patrols, which is helping to keep the paramilitaries at least somewhat at bay. In fact, there's even an open question as to whether the RSF can muster the forces required to take the city. The Darfuri tribes the paramilitaries draw from are riddled with infighting and occasionally ill-disciplined, as we've seen with some of their recent incursions into Chad, a nation that's normally on their side. Indeed, the SAF remain bullish, with its spokespeople insisting to outlets that the paramilitaries are incapable of breaching El Obeid's defenses. However, even if true, that does not make the city safe. And that's mainly thanks to a recent technological development that has begun proliferating on Sudan's battlefields, one that most associated with a different war thousands of kilometers north on the plains of Eastern Europe. We are, of course, talking about drones. Fire in the sky. Quoting, "In the past year, Sudan's war has transformed into a drone-dominated conflict characterized by both sides rapidly adapting their aerial tactics and supply chains." End quote. That was the conclusion of an Acrylic report released on the 4th of June, detailing the rapid shift both the RSF and SAF have made towards being drone-focused militaries. By their measurements, air and drone events now account for between 40 and 60% of all types of violence experienced in Sudan. Now, it's important here that we don't go imagining that Sudan is becoming another Ukraine. While Kyiv and Moscow are locked in a game of white-hot technological innovation, constantly experimenting with new types of drone, the combatants in Sudan are using mostly paid-for Turkish models. The FPV saturated front lines of the Donbass, this is not. Still, the uptick in drone usage is clearly having major effects, including around El Obeid. A recent report from inside the city documented an almost constant hum of drones audible in the skies, a source of anxiety for all those living there. Since June the 10th, the drone strikes have come daily, with additional strikes against oil tankers approaching the city, aimed at starving El Obeid of fuel. To quote critical threats again, drone strikes have reportedly destroyed at least 8 SAF fuel depots and several fuel tankers en route to El Obeid, causing widespread fuel shortages and disrupting SAF supply lines. The RSF has also targeted the SAF's command headquarters in El Obeid and reportedly destroyed weapons depots. Other reporting paints a grim toll for civilians. Alongside military facilities, RSF drones have bombed bridges, civilian homes, and power stations. And that last one is particularly important. The destruction of these stations has led to power cuts that frequently take the city's water system offline. Radio de Banga went so far as to call it a water crisis, with prices of bottled water surging as a result. To be clear, things are not yet where they were in the last days of El Fasher. By the end, famine had been declared in the North Darfur capital, the population of which had swollen due to a vast influx of refugees fleeing violence elsewhere. But things are clearly progressing in the wrong direction. And the direction of travel is made all the more worrying by the fact that El Fasher was not a one-off. Across the conflict, massacring everyone inside a city has become one of the RSF's calling cards. Prior to the fall of El Fasher, the worst example of this was likely the 2 separate mass killings that took place in El Geneina toward the start of the war. In that Darfuri city, the RSF conducted a large-scale campaign of ethnic cleansing against those from the Masalit minority. Again, death tolls vary, but a commonly accepted figure is between 10,000 and 13,000 killed. For comparison, that's roughly as many as perished during the 4-year siege of Sarajevo. The fate of Zamzam refugee camp was another such atrocity. A sprawling camp on the outskirts of El Fasher, Zamzam was mostly home to women and children. Nonetheless, the paramilitary still attacked it as they tightened the noose around El Fasher, killing at least 1,500 people and likely many more. At this point, we should add our regular caveat. As awful as the RSF are, you should not go thinking that their opponents are angels. The SAF routinely and indiscriminately shells civilian areas, conducts reprisal killings, and is allied with Islamist militias that have carried out ethnic massacres. Still, there is little argument that the RSF is the worst of the two. And taken together, the paramilitary's track record explains why everyone is now so worried about El Obeid. Throughout the Sudanese civil war, the RSF's modus operandi has been to take a city and then unleash a reign of terror against the non-Arab population, with the goal of either exterminating them or forcing them to flee. The one thing going in El Obeid's favor is that no one expects an ethnic massacre there. As Nathaniel Raymond of Yale's Humanitarian Research Lab has noted of the RSF's advance towards the city, this is not a genocidal move, it's a tactical one. As such, should the city fall, we might not expect to see unrestrained horror on the level of El Fasher. Although that's a bit like being told that you're lucky enough to only be visiting the 3rd circle of hell rather than the 9th. As we saw during the RSF's 2-year reign over Khartoum, the paramilitaries are still vicious even when they're not genocidal. In the Sudanese capital, civilians were arbitrarily killed, suspected army sympathizers were tortured to death, and ordinary women were abducted and abused.
I figured. It took me a second, and then
you might be wondering something along the lines of, if the RSF are so awful, why aren't we seeing an international coalition set up to stop them? Why isn't the world as determined to defeat them as it was to defeat ISIS? And the answer to that is depressingly simple. The RSF has powerful international backers that nobody wants to offend. Behind the curtain. Now, the curious thing about the Sudanese civil war is that it should be over by now. At the outbreak of hostilities in April 2023, neither side was remotely prepared for nor capable of sustaining a conflict for over 3 years. That they're still in the game is entirely due to the backing of outside states. The SAF has been sustained by a strange coalition that has at various times included weapons and backing from Iran, drones and drone operators from Ukraine, military kit and support from Egypt, diplomatic support from Saudi Arabia, training from Eritrea, and personnel supplied supplied by Tigrayan rebels in the north of Ethiopia.
Kind of, yeah.
On the RSF side, the coalition is similarly eclectic, with the paramilitaries getting backing from the federal government in Ethiopia, the warlord ruling Libya's east, the government in South Sudan, and the neighboring nation of Chad, despite the major ethnicity in the Chadian army being one of the same groups the RSF is trying to exterminate across the border in Darfur. On top of that, both sides received Turkish drones, while the RSF was initially supplied with air defense systems and training from Russia's Wagner Group. Now, the reasons why many of these outsiders are backing their respective forces have little to do with the RSF or the SF themselves. Without getting too deep into the weeds, the motivations of, say, Eritrea and Ethiopia in all this have more to do with their separate rivalry and internal politics rather than deep ideological alignment with one of Sudan's factions. But while all the countries we've named so far, plus several others, have played their part in keeping the Sudanese inferno going, one nation stands out above all others: the United Arab Emirates. Today, the list of bodies that have collected evidence of UAE backing for the RSF is long and comprehensive. 2 separate UN panels have reached this conclusion, as have in-depth reports from Reuters and the New York Times, along with human rights organizations like Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch. Yale Humanitarian Research Lab has used satellite images to track UAE cargo flights, while multiple OSCE researchers have documented planes belonging to the country ferrying supplies to the paramilitaries via air bases in Chad, Ethiopia, and South Sudan. Emirati support for the RSF goes beyond simple weapons shipments, though. Abu Dhabi launders the gold the paramilitaries extract from Sudan's mines through its own markets, while wounded RSF fighters are treated in Emirati field hospitals. So deep does their commitment to the group go that there's a reasonable argument that the key reason Ethiopia is becoming more engaged in the conflict is due to pressure from Abu Dhabi. Yet the key thing the Emirates offer the RSF is the one thing money cannot buy: diplomatic cover. Rich and strategically located, the UAE is a vital ally for a lot of countries that might otherwise be trying to stop RSF atrocities. The United States has bases there, while perhaps more pertinently, the Trump family has business interests there. France sells the UAE its weapons, with Abu Dhabi being one of Paris's biggest customers. The United Kingdom has outposts there. African nations compete for Emirati money and investment opportunities. Both Russia and the West are trying to court the Emiratis.
Do they?
In short, most of the nations with the capacity to exert actual pressure on the RSF have weighed it up and decided it is not worth it. That, for reasons related to money, diplomacy, or geopolitics, it is more useful to keep the Emiratis happy than it is to stop the RSF from slaughtering entire cities. Or as Nathaniel Raymond put it, the world made a choice through its inaction. Particularly the United States, the United Kingdom, and the European Union made a collective and intentional choice that the economic, security, and diplomatic interests of the West, with the United Arab Emirates, mattered more than the lives of black, indigenous Sudanese. End quote. Where we would differ with his assessment is that it's not just the West. The African Union has been utterly disinterested in stopping this war. Regional powerhouses like Kenya have chosen to cozy up with the RSF. Meanwhile, the rulers in the Gulf are simply content to use Sudan as just another piece on a chessboard, part of their new great game for influence along the Red Sea coast. In short, the Sudan war still rages because no one wants to confront the trade-offs needed to stop it. And so, we once again have the specter of diplomats warning of a looming massacre, even as their governments turn a blind eye to those funding and facilitating it. If the RSF does attack El Obeid in the coming days, and if they do manage to break through the city's defenses and commit a massacre, then no one in any position of power can say that they were not warned. The evidence is out there. Videos
am I kind of
like
quiet
this are out
compared
there.
to my
It's now up to our leaders
video
to decide if they'd rather act or simply turn a blind eye to yet another mass killing in Sudan. Thank you for watching.
Compared to my video or just in general?
And welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. The time 10:20 on the East Coast and 7:20 on the West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow, and I do want to get you right back into a big story that we have been following for days now, as once again, We have the latest on these back-to-back powerful earthquakes that struck Venezuela just days ago. Venezuela's government says at least 1,430 people are now confirmed dead after the 7.2 and 7.5 magnitude earthquakes that struck one after the other. Families have also reported that at least 68,900 people are missing as of this weekend. Now, you are taking a live look here.
Is that
as
a little
those
better
search
on
and
my
rescue
volume,
and
honey?
search and recovery crews are out at the scene where they've been 4 days since all of this
This is
unfolded,
sad.
using shovels, heavy equipment, ropes, and even their bare hands to dig through concrete and other debris to find any survivors they can. Right now, I do want to bring in Dr. Alex Nicolin, an associate professor of geophysics and department chair there at Binghamton University, to discuss all of this. Doctor, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today and help kind of dissect what happened.
Good morning, Josh. Thank you for having me on.
Of course.
Good.
And first off, I want to start by asking you, what do we know about everything that happened there? We're talking 2 very powerful back-to-back earthquakes, more than 7.0 magnitude. We have 7.2 and 7.5.
Yes, indeed, we do. And this is a pretty rare occurrence known as a seismic doublet, where 2 earthquakes essentially occur very close to each other of similar magnitude. So this is not a classical foreshock, main shock, aftershock sequence where there's an order of magnitude drop typically between the foreshock and the main shock and the aftershock. A seismic doublet occurs when there's basically triggering motion of some sort on the plate, which is the first event, followed by a redistribution of stress and a triggering of a second event, which is the most likely scenario that unfolded here. So in essence, you have a very strong earthquake followed by another very strong earthquake. And it's important to understand the magnitude difference here. A 7.1 and a 7.5 are actually considerably different in terms of their size. A 7.5 is actually nearly double in terms of shaking amplitude. So because the Richter scale and the seismic moment scale is logarithmic. So these are very, very strong events. And in the context of the first one impacting the region first, the second one has the potential to destroy buildings that have been weakened by the first shock.
Are we past the point right now where you could have these aftershocks taking place? Again, we're days removed here, but could they still see aftershocks?
Absolutely, and we have seen aftershocks following the seismic doublet that are lower in magnitude. But again, the challenge is to all the rescue crews and the local populations is that these aftershocks, even though they may be smaller, have the potential to damage buildings that have been either damaged or significantly structurally changed by the first event. So I would expect that there to be more aftershocks following in the next couple of days, 2 weeks, before the system kind of restabilizes again.
Is this an area of the world that tends to see major earthquakes like this, especially when you talk about those back-to-back major earthquakes?
So this is a seismically active area. It's an area of active tectonics. It's a strike-slip fault system that relates to major plate motion in this region of the world. So there have been earthquakes in this region in the past, destructive earthquakes, and there will likely be earthquakes in the future. The challenge is always, forecasting the timing and the strength of these earthquakes, with timing being the one impossible task to predict.
And that actually leads into my next question here, because it's a question that we hear from a lot of people. Are there any
So what
warning
color
signs,
should I do the
before an
bandana?
earthquake does happen? Is there anything that folks
I think I'm gonna do his eyes like
can
yellow.
really see beforehand that kind of indicates there could be an earthquake?
Actually, I think I'm
Unfortunately not. Seismic events are typically considered to be largely unpredictable in terms of their timing. We understand where they happen pretty well based on our understanding of plate tectonics. We understand about how big they could be potentially, but predicting the exact timing of such an event has been an elusive target. And unfortunately, there's just too many factors that complicate a possible accurate forecast or a prediction, which is a word we don't like to use. So in terms of forecasting the future, we are very confident that there will be earthquakes in these active areas of a certain magnitude. In terms of how big they are and when they happen, that's a challenging task that scientists are continuing to work on.
And of course, you're looking live here over in Caracas at a very small portion of just some of the damage. We've seen crews that are out there, debris gathered up as they're looking for victims, any survivors out there. We've seen some remarkable stories of survivors pulled from the rubble days later. Now, my last question for you here. Some people have experienced other earthquakes around the world this week. There's always earthquakes, but we're talking fairly large ones. So is there any maybe scientific connection, or is that just all kind of a coincidence?
It is a coincidence. Unfortunately, after an earthquake of this magnitude occurs, we start paying attention to earthquakes occurring around the world a little bit more, and that's a kind of a typical human reaction. And there are earthquakes that occur all over the world. Unfortunately, they're disconnected in terms of their stress parameters. Otherwise, it would be a lot easier to kind of work with an enclosed system, but these systems are not related to each other. So an earthquake in the Pacific is not necessarily related to an earthquake in the Atlantic. So even though our minds rush to make connections, those connections are typically not there in this particular realm. So even though there will be earthquakes this year around the world, some probably as large as this one, they are isolated events, isolated from each other.
And one more question for you. What are you going to be watching for here as we see everything kind of continue here over the next several days? And of course, you know, scientists are working to get more information about what happened. That's always going to happen. But also those rescue and recovery efforts. What are you watching for specifically?
The one thing I'm watching for is the number of missing casualties. Unfortunately, the number has gone up even since yesterday. We went from about 50,000 missing to 70,000 persons missing, which is an indicator of ultimately how the magnitude of casualties. Because unfortunately, many of the missing will be recovered as casualties later on. But the number of people missing indicates the true scale of this event. Again, the days to come, that's something that there'll be a conversion between the missing persons and the casualties confirmed. So I'm also looking very carefully to see the level of collaboration between scientists and emergency management services to basically rush the scene and try to recover as many people as possible within the first critical hours of this, within critical hours and days, while search and rescue is still possible and it does not transition into a search and recovery operation.
All right, Dr. Alex Nicolin, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here and help break this all down. Anything we missed, anything that you want to make sure to add before I let you go?
We want to make sure that folks understand that seismic areas of the world are just the nature of our planet. And if you happen to be living near one, you should always have an emergency management plan for yourself and your family. If you're living far away from one, don't scare yourself or your family. It's important to understand exactly where you are and relative to the large tectonic boundaries. And have a plan. Understand where you are, understand the geology of where you live, and kind of always keep it in the back of your mind that these events do happen through time.
No, I think I'm going to
thank you again for taking the time to join us and helping to break all this down. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Josh.
And of course, taking a live look once again over Caracas at this hour, 68,900 people reported missing by family members. And sadly, that number could rise as 1,430 people are confirmed dead, according to the Venezuelan government. That number, sadly, also expected to rise there. We'll keep you updated here on Live Now from Fox as we get the very latest information. Let's head to a quick break right now here at 10:30 on the East Coast and 7:30 on the West Coast. You're watching Live Now from Fox. We'll be right back.
There's his eyes.
Welcome back here on
Hey, honey.
Live Now from Fox,
Which
10:31
color?
on the East Coast and 7:31
Now I'm on his bandana.
the
Now
West
I need a
Coast.
color.
My name is Josh Breslow, and I do want to get you the latest here as we continue to cover the absolute latest information on the Venezuela
I'm gonna
back-to-back
do-
earthquakes. Right here, we once again have this live image that's coming in out of the Caracas area. As you can see, those
I really
search and
like this
rescue,
metallic
search and
purple.
recovery crews continue to work to find any survivors survivors and victims
like the
there. Now, at
cyan,
last check, according to
metallic
officials
cyan.
with the government in Venezuela, nearly 69,000 people have been reported missing by their family members there, and 1,430 are confirmed dead. But officials say that number is only expected to rise. Right now, I do want to bring in Oriana Maita, a content creator on the ground over in Venezuela, to discuss this. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
That'll work.
Look, thank you guys for giving Venezuela the space and the time. Before saying anything, I just want to inform everyone that you do not need to be here to help. We need your help. Venezuela is very alone. And here in the back of myself, I put some organizations that are helping.
I think I'll do yellow.
And well,
it was
I'm
one of
open
my
to any
choices
questions, but I just
before I
wanted to
thought
let
about
that
the
out
gold.
there.
No, of course. And I'm going to kind of zoom out to get a better view of that so folks at home can see. But what I wanted to start by asking you about is obviously you were on the ground as this horrible situation played out there. Can you kind of describe for me how everything happened?
Look, I was fortunate enough that I wasn't on one of the places that struck the most, that is the state of La Guaira. I was actually even in a brand event. We start feeling the floor, but I was without any cell signal for hours, and even the next day. So I had no idea what was actually happening in the country. My own aunt lives in La Guaira, and her building got completely collapsed. She's with no home. She has nowhere to sleep. She's staying at my house right now. So that was like the most concerning part, that we didn't know what was actually happening. Once I went outside, I saw buildings moving and everything, and I was lucky enough that I was close to home. So when I walked home, I saw my complete building collapse. So there's when I understood that something really had happened. It was a magnitude of 7.9.
As you are on the ground there, what would you say is the biggest challenge for folks who are there right now, the folks who are just trying to figure out what's going on, trying to get in touch with maybe family members? What is the biggest challenge?
Look, the biggest challenge is that Venezuela was already passing a humanitarian crisis before all of this. The earthquake was just a way of shaking us into reality that we need help. It's just us. It's just the citizens using help. There's no centralized system, so we need organization. We find out who needs supplies and where to get them only through social media and WhatsApp. So there's no coordinated events, no coordinated government in response. So we're basically on our own. We have limited resources. We have barely any signal. In the state that I'm telling you that there was the biggest wreck, there's no signal until now. It's just citizens going in their own cars, lending their Starlinks, that it's the only thing that's getting signal over there. So, I mean, we're on our own.
What is, and you just touched on this, but what is the message that you want to make sure gets across to people who are watching this, whether they're in the U.S. or they're anywhere across the world?
Look, the most important thing is that we need your help. Venezuela is in a humanitarian crisis, hospitals without supplies, families without food. Now people
I can't imagine living
with
in
no
like an
homes.
earthquake zone.
So
That
there's
would
still
be
people
so
trapped right now underneath
scary.
all the rubble, fighting for their lives.
To
And
know
it's
that
just
out of
us
nowhere your whole
with our
life
own
could just
hands
be
lifting rocks and able to
wrecked.
save people. So any money counts, money, supplies, anything. There's several states in the U.S. If you're in Florida, there's many places that are recollecting things and sending in planes. Our only hope right now is international help. And please spread the word. Spread the word. Tell your family, tell your friends, and let every neighbor know what's happening in Venezuela right now, because we are completely on our own.
What does it say to you? How do you feel knowing that many countries, the U.S. and others, are sending aid your way? What does that mean to you and to the people there in Venezuela?
Look, international aid is the only hope we have right now. It's the only hope. It's the only help we're feeling. So alongside with the bravery of our people and the citizens, I'm deeply grateful for every country stepping in to help, because it's exactly what we need.
All right, Oriana, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here and to share that perspective. Is there anything that you want to add that we want to make sure, or that you want to make sure gets out there before I let you go?
I just want people to understand how serious this is. I know we hear about Venezuela. I know many people don't even know where Venezuela is. And it's always like Venezuela's always in trouble, but we really need you this time. This isn't about politics. This is about humans dying. It's hundreds and hundreds of buildings that collapse at the same time. So this is the time to help. If you didn't want to be involved with politics, if you didn't need to be involved about anything that's happening in the country, this is a humanitarian crisis and we need your help.
Oriana, Maita, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here and for sharing your story and the story of so many people there.
Thank you. Thank you for the platform, and please donate. These are only just some of the organizations, but there's a bunch of ways to help. So thank you, and thank you for giving this time in this space, and please keep on doing it.
Thank you again, and be safe out there.
Sorry about
now,
that.
You are taking a live look once again over in Venezuela at this hour as we continue to follow all of the latest on the back-to-back powerful earthquakes that hit
now we're gonna get started
just
on
days
this.
ago. Venezuela's government there confirming that at least 1,430 people are confirmed dead after those two back-to-back earthquakes. Families also reporting at least 68,900 people missing as of this weekend. We know that Venezuelans can be seen searching for loved ones and neighbors using shovels, heavy equipment, ropes, and their bare hands to dig through the concrete and the other debris, which you're looking at on your screen from buildings that have collapsed as a result of those powerful quakes. The U.S. among the many countries who have pledged resources to help, including sending search and rescue crews to that region. We'll keep you updated here as we get all of the additional information on this on Live Now from Fox. We are going to sneak away for our final 2-minute commercial break of the hour here, 10:40 on the East Coast and 7:40 on the West Coast. You're watching Live Now from Fox. We'll be right back.
Okay, so number 1.
Dark Theorist.
Right. Which one? Something different.
Chainsaw wielding man tries burning family alive.
Cinnamon Toast Ken.
Out through my front door. Okay, honey, hang on. They're coming, okay? Is there any way you all can get into a different room and shut the door? What's on fire? My house is on fire.
Oh, bless her heart.
You say, now what, dear?
Now, what you say now? To start off, there's a chainsaw through my door. Oh, okay. Is there a way you can go into another room? My house is on fire.
Oh, well, help's on the way, but, man.
They ain't gonna be about 10 minutes, so good luck. Everything, when you get in the rural county, you know, about everything's 15 minutes away.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you. Yeah. It's people on the phone gonna let you know, like, all right, it's gonna be a little bit, so,
Run!
keep running around. That chainsaw's heavy. Tire him out.
Tire 'em out. Zigzag pattern.
God.
Scrambled to the rural residence deep in the woods where the family of 3 lived.
He's on the Hazard's Bobcat.
You advise he's on a Bobcat?
That's what she said. He's on a Bobcat.
Oh, he's on the Bobcat out there? They got the machinery out there. He's out there. He's probably like picking stuff up around their house and using it too.
Yeah.
Oh, a chainsaw.
Bulldozer. I think he's got the Bobcat just hanging out the side, or the chainsaw on the side of the Bobcat while he's driving it.
Goodness gracious.
Excavators and whatchamacallit.
What?
Oh my gosh!
And
well, you call the fire department
and everything.
That's the whole trailer's on fire. God dang!
Move back.
All right.
Trap the dude in there.
It seems like the family's outside. This is the end of the horror movie.
Yeah.
It's one of those like hour and 20-minute horror movies too. So you know they knock something down. He's trapped inside. The house is burning. That dude though, let him burn. He's inside. Let him burn.
Move back.
Back out the driveway. Where's he at? I don't know.
Where's he at?
I don't know what's going on. Where is he? He's inside the house. He's back down the driveway. He's in the woods.
If it is a horror movie, he teleports at slow speeds.
Is that the house? It ain't on fire no more. What is that? It must be the neighbors or the boathouse. Boy, man, they got homie out here. Got his jacked up Jeep. got their sports car, 2-door.
Okay.
And the work truck. Heck yeah, that diesel boy.
That's it right there.
Yeah, buddy.
I see what you mean about being a really
Are there any weapons in the house?
weird angle to.
Are there weapons in the house? Abs-goddamn-lutely. Weapons all over the place out here.
Y'all be careful in there.
Oh, here we go. I can see the fire on the front side of the house there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
They
asked.
got the garage open,
Can you hear
and
me
there's
now?
enough to park vehicles in there. I guess they backed them out.
Oh, maybe because the house is on. Do they have time to go get 3 vehicles?
I was saying that.
Well, the truck is probably already
Why
out
is
in
it
the
that,
drive
like,
anyway, but still, there's a guy coming through with the chainsaw.
Videos we've seen
the
lately,
house is on
everybody's
fire,
jumping into excavators.
but they've gotten everyone
and
out.
crap.
He's inside somewhere still, and they've backed their cars out. So how intense was the situation? It's like Michael Myers is like slowly walking around, not fast walking either.
Yeah.
Or like Bubba, he's just like really drunk and like can't get down the stairs. Going down the side of the house. Who's leaving? Who's pulling? Maybe it's a cop. They ain't got their lights.
Is that
on.
better?
Going down the side of the house. Where's he at?
Oh, that's kids.
Apparently the suspect in the house.
Yeah. He's down by the side of the house. That's another cop.
Yeah. That's our guy.
There's the old Bobcat right there.
Okay.
Got the old skid steer.
I got a good one.
You can't just get them things and crank them up.
Okay.
How do you know the code? Yeah, I got a couple Bobcats,
Okay.
And they got a screen
said,
there.
can you
sit down,
hear me
push the button,
now?
Turn it on, and everything boots up. And then you got to put in a code. It's like a 4 to 6 digit code.
Oh.
Hello,
Then you can
testing,
crank it.
testing, 1, 2, 3,
dang.
testing.
Yeah, well, unless it's like a really old one that had the key.
testing, 1, 2, 3.
But even then, like they've had the codes for a
Test,
while.
test. Can you hear me
Yeah,
better
so,
now?
so you can leave them on the job site and not worry
Test,
about
1,
people
2,
taking your
3.
stuff.
Stealing them. Yeah, I was wondering
exactly.
why people would just leave them out and about. I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
you can't just get in them and drive them unless it's real old.
Suspect that caught the house on fire could be in the house. What?
I blame the wife because she's just yelling stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's in the house. He's on the hill. He's in a bobcat. He's everywhere. And the dude's just like, he's in the house. Let him burn.
Yeah.
Why does it seem like
What's his name?
we've seen so many cop videos with
Oh, they know his full name.
they
skid
know
Middle
his
name.
steers
Brian
and
Scott
excavators
Walker. He's a
and
piece of trash.
Oh, Brian Scott out here.
Fired him off
everything
the
out.
job because he always showed up
Why
drunk.
is
Now
that
he's
becoming
mad.
the new
He only
thing
comes
to
to work
do
when he
when
wants his
cops are
beer money,
involved with
and I
you?
ain't giving it to him. That's probably, but he's got the code of the Bobcat.
That's why he's got it. Exactly.
That is actually a wild situation though, because like the house is on fire and they can't just not. If he's in there,
Yeah. They got to try to save him, too.
right?
And bring him to justice.
Or they'll find him too if he's running out that chainsaw trying to chop up people.
Right,
you
or
know?
potential other guns and weapons.
Right. But then, like, not only is the whole situation is devastating. Like, the house is like literally cooks. Like it's the fire. The whole roof is on fire.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like
That's how you can tell these people were in the biggest of panics. There's that motorcycle inside, and they didn't bring it out. That should have came out first. You saved the kids and then the motorcycle.
I hope they get a good insurance payout. Because by the time the fire department gets here, they're probably gonna be like, "Well, we just gotta let it burn down." We ain't saving it.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah, so I was literally just about to say he ain't got no ventilator on or nothing. He's just going in here.
Dang.
You know where he went?
When he was around the front house, he come and he just slashed my tires on my Jeep.
He can slash the tires on her Jeep, boy.
Jeez.
This guy's got a grudge.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think it is, Dane? What do you think the grudge is?
Oh man, well I'm gonna tell you, they owe him some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's probably just over $1,000. And he needs that money. And it's the dad. The dad knows. That's why he knew his name. He was the one that made the deal. Didn't pay him.
Well, I like to think that
He's coming to
I
get
think
his
what
whole
happened,
family.
Dane, is that the dude's the husband, she's the wife.
How do you
she's
do
been
these? Do you like start from the top and do
talking to
all the
somebody,
colors, or are you
and she
doing?
done
Do you
broke
do
his
like
heart.
I
He's
do?
mad
Start with
about
one
it.
color
She
and do
chose
as
him,
much of it as you
like,
see.
husband over him.
I got you.
He's out for revenge.
I got
Slash
you.
your tires. Why would he slash your tires? Unless he's out there stabbing tires because he's mad about everything. But still, It's like everybody's
slashing
like
tires and burning the house.
It's like everybody's like, where is he? He was around the side of the house. He slashed my. We don't care. Where is he?
Where is he at right now?
I don't need the details right now. We'll get to that. What is his location? Where's the last time you seen him?
Back out. Come on.
Oh god dang!
Oh snap! The auto shot.
The auto shot or they're gonna throw some grenades at him.
That's at least hitting that man with some slugs. They got it ready.
They out here in the deep woods. They don't get to use their the points they've been saving up. You got to cash in and get that
the points.
Get that grenade launcher.
Come on. Watch out. Followed by. Where's he at, Ray Ray?
The kid tries to do like 4 colors at once.
Ray Ray needs a
Ray
mask.
Ray. Oh, this guy's gonna be coughing for literally the rest of the episode. He went in, got some smoke in his lungs. He's gonna cough constantly and tell everybody, "Man, I went in there trying to find him."
Yeah.
Got choked. Oh, the smoke was so thick. All right.
You look in door number 1.
All right, Ray Ray.
This crazy muck. I know who this is too.
They know him. They know who
Oh,
he
they
is.
know him.
Boy, that house is
done,
on
fire.
I need to there's a family of 3. I've seen 2 people so far. Where's the third? Anybody? Is there anyone else inside other than the murderer potentially?
Is he inside? Trying to make entry, but smoking.
Before I got all 4 fire departments coming.
Tires on my Jeep.
She's still talking.
She's still mad about her Jeep.
He slashed the tires, y'all. Step back.
She's gutted the neighbors.
There's a chainsaw wielding madman right here setting houses on fire.
15. It's going to be that one that me and you were out with a while back.
Oh my God. Time is now about 12 minutes. Okay. So it did take about 10 minutes to get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, those thick Southern Belle accents always give me, oh my God. Oh, man. The families of the victims here, it's just, you know, the fact that we live in the South and...
Well, this is normal talk.
Yeah, that's just how it is. Once that fire gets down deep enough in the basement, all that ammo is going to start lighting up, too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just looking to see if he's out here. Make sure he doesn't double back behind us.
Yeah, set up a perimeter. We
Yeah.
don't know where he is. Let's get everybody away from the house, check on everybody, set up a perimeter, can't find him. If he's still in there, boy, let God sort him out.
There's weapons in the basement. Whoever's in that car, y'all get out of here. If he's got a gun or something.
I don't think he's got a gun. He had my chainsaw.
Look at that. Out here with his dog. Got a beer in his hand right now?
Yeah.
I ain't got a gun. We have my chainsaw.
I ain't finna shoot me.
The cops are just like, can you guys
Can you get away?
get out of here?
Get out of here. If he's got a gun or something.
I don't think he's got a gun. He had my chainsaw.
Up here on the top of the hill, we're going to need to move some of these cars.
It's the fact that they're also like,
He's so nonchalant.
he's just not. This man, wife's got him beat down.
Yeah.
He's just like, God dang it, I swear to God. Reckon we got insurance on the house. It'll be all right. We rebuild it.
Hell, it burnt my house down.
Yeah, well, my dog got out.
Yeah.
Wife's over here cutting the fuss and everything. Sir, can you leave? Yeah, well,
He ain't gonna shoot me.
he got a
Got a
chainsaw.
and a lighter.
Up here on the top of the hill, we're going to need to move some of these cars so the fire trucks can get in here.
Hey, will that go forward?
Organized chaos, man.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for whoever the senior officer is to be like, okay, this is what we're doing. Get the cars off the roads, the fire department can get in here and start putting the fire out, set up a perimeter, get these people back to where the rest of the cars are, you know, get them some, you know, keep an eye on them so that nobody gets murdered out here on our watch. Don't let them get in the Bobcat, apparently knows the code.
Yeah.
17, if you're not.
You're stuck.
It's all right. Just leave it there, dude. I wish I'd have just went out and shot him in the damn leg.
Yeah.
He got stuck in the yard.
Yeah.
I wish I had shot him in the dang leg.
Yeah, just slow him down in that there house.
But I would have shot him in the head.
These inside there, there's too much smoke.
Where is the fire department?
Where is the fire department? Our house is on fire. It's a nice house, too.
It is.
22, I'm going to need you to get your car so the fire trucks can get in here.
Who was it? My brother-in-law, her brother. Brian Scott Walker.
Brother-in-law.
Her
Okay.
brother did this.
All right. His brother-in-law, her brother, still potential lover. Facts. That's
You're
What?
not wrong.
can't scratch that one off yet.
Brian Scott Walker, how old is he? About 42, ain't he, Donnie? 42, yeah.
Oh, he's got his boy on the
He's
phone.
got his
too.
walkie, yeah.
Let me tell you about this.
If he's in there, it ain't good. My boy said he seen him turn the light on.
It's her brother, right?
Yeah. We all just had a fire out in Morristown next to the jail they're building on 2nd North. We have an apartment there, and I reckon he burned it up.
Okay, so this guy's got a...
Your brother did this crap to our house?
Yeah. So they don't know if he's in the house or not, just their kid. Well,
I mean, you don't have a brother, but say you did.
Saw him turn a light on. And then he goes into the story. I know that apartment down there on 78
I would be so mad.
Sir, can you just get to the...
This is some hay bullshit, though, I guess is
please.
kind of my point.
He's on the meth.
He's on the meth.
He's on the meth.
Yeah, the meth.
Yeah, well,
you got it.
oh,
You
hey,
got him.
Make sure that fire don't get down there to that little shed we got on the side. I'm gonna blow up, and that's where all the meth. I mean,
that's probably his shot.
Yeah, it's probably his.
The brother's intentionally sick. He may be out here somewhere. Apparently he was chasing them with a chainsaw, or then he lit the house on fire. So.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, we should probably get back in the house.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be out here. There's a armed man running around, and we're all just hanging out. You know.
Then he lit the house on fire. So.
Oh my God.
Honey, it's a call away. Quit worrying about it. It's fun.
Oh, my son is gone.
Well, you have to find out.
That old guy!
I think that's also like a Southern thing, having like half argument discussion out loud so everyone else can hear him. So he can be like, I told her, you know, it's burnt. You let it go. Oh, my stuff. Yeah, you got a bunch of junk. We need to throw it out anyway.
You got to get it all new now.
You need to move my car?
This one, yeah. So when they can come down right here.
Oh, fire department's still not even here yet.
He might be in there dead.
27, is he still in the house or out the house, or do you all even know?
Well, that's how I was told. He ran inside and no one seen him since.
Yeah, nobody knows where he is.
Yeah.
But like, it's just like, hey, he needs to be shot. This is your brother. I'm glad whoever sent this one. I go, you know, this is a good one. This is the kind
This
I
is
like.
a good
right?
one.
Like,
Yeah,
there's
there's something happening here.
Half the time we get these and it's like, yeah, it's kind of a weird situation, but then it's over like real quick. But this is just a roller coaster ride with plenty of things to talk about.
I know. I just want to know where Brian Skywalker is.
Oh, he's in there on the meth. Feeling real hot for some reason.
Yeah.
Last time we got him walking out.
That's why I'm keeping my eyes open. There ain't no telling what this guy's got on his mind. I'm assuming he got one of these places. That's what I'd have done.
Oh yeah, they got some. Yeah, they got some new builds out here. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Where's that Ozark water at, Dane? It's probably out
I
there
know there's some
somewhere.
Ozark out there. Find it.
All right, 21 minutes for the fire department.
Fire
to get
department's here.
Heck yeah. Well, they can't, you know,
It's probably not real close.
it's rural, so they had to usually don't have people sitting at the fire department, so they had to call them. They had to jump up, drive down there,
Get there.
Yeah, wait until two of them get there so they can drive down. Ammo going on. I tell you, stuff's gonna start popping. My house is done. A lot of them. Yeah.
149, 115.
There goes the ammo.
Yeah.
All popping and blowing up down there.
Where does he usually stay at? Well, he's homeless because he burned his apartment down over there next to where they're building the jail there on 2nd North.
I always like the extra information. Where's he live at? Well, he's homeless because he burned his goddamn house down. Idiot.
I mean, the family's scattered, but the last day he saw, he was going inside.
He ain't in there. I don't know, dude. He's pretty whacked out the last time we dealt with him.
I love this. It's a big tragedy, but the only person that sounds bothered is the wife.
Yeah.
But he ain't in there. I don't know, man. He was pretty whacked out the last time I saw him. All right.
My stuff!
Yeah. I got one of the firefighters down there trying to pull some stuff down. I don't know. I guess trying to pull some stuff away that burn. Like I said, like it's been so long. The fire's been going so long. They ain't getting.
Oh yeah, this is
it's done.
Completely done.
They're spraying it like I imagine at this rate they'll probably try to control the fire from like spreading out in the woods, but it's these trees aren't really catching on fire or nothing.
Yeah.
But they'll probably just let it burn down.
Everybody's up to speed. That fucking smoke sucks.
Dude, it sucks. I was coming with you.
I told you.
Yeah.
I told you.
Yeah.
That smoke sucks. Yep.
It absolutely does.
Smoke sucks.
Dude, it sucks. I was coming with you.
You need me to give you mouth?
No, I'm gonna put this dip in and call it a day. I don't like smoke.
As firefighters try.
What did he say?
You need me to give you mouth to mouth?
Nah, I'm gonna put my dip in. What it call it a day. These trees aren't really catching on fire or nothing.
Yeah.
But they'll probably just let it burn down.
Everybody's up to speed. That fucking smoke sucks.
Dude, it sucks. I was coming with you.
I told you.
Yeah.
I told you.
Yeah.
That smoke sucks. Yep.
It absolutely does.
Smoke sucks.
Dude, it sucks. I was coming with you.
You need me to give you mouth?
No, I'm gonna put this dip in and call it a day. I don't like smoke.
As firefighters try.
You need me to give you mouth to mouth?
Nah, I'm gonna put my dip in. What it call it a day.
Screw it.
One of mine burned down back when I was a young boy. My stepdad got caught in it. So at least everybody got out.
Yes, we were very fortunate and blessed that we was all able to get out and even got dig.
That must be the dog dig.
The dog, yeah. Man, this might have happened around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like someone's got a story about someone not making it out. Oh man, well we're blessed, in this situation, got out, which is
it is good.
That's good. And then all the cops are talking about how they. You remember that guy who we arrested years ago? Yeah, the same guy.
Yeah.
Hey, what's he look like?
Like a pure meth head. He's got in his head that I've done something again.
That's all the description you need.
Yeah.
What do you look like a pure meth head?
Oh, I know exactly what that looks like.
Yeah.
We got him on lock now. Gonna find him.
Where at, kids?
Uh-oh. Found him.
I found him.
He's going in the woods.
Down in the woods. I figure he's just like in the woods, just laying down somewhere.
Yeah. I'm camouflaged.
Yeah. Where's the dog? Get the dog on him.
Back there.
Oh, there they go. Found him.
Hey. I had two.
Like these instructions. Put your hands up. Both of them.
Up, not down.
Stay there then. Go back down. On the ground. Go back down. On the ground.
All right. He's gonna. I don't know what you guys want me to do. Get on the ground. Got the cut-off shirt. Got a do-rag on or a hat?
He's got that bandana tied.
Got that bandana.
The ground. Lay down, man.
Hey, there's sticks on the ground. God dang, they all hurt me.
Hands behind your back now. Give him your hand. We got him. We got him.
You spray him.
Hey! Gotcha!
I got one. Give your hands. Right now. Fucking hands. Fucking hands.
Hey. I don't know what's going on, but I love it. It's
Hey,
like, so when
babe.
you spray him, just tase him.
Tase him.
And then he's like, he's choking.
God, he's about to be sprayed and tased.
Damn!
Well, quit fighting. It's been a whole lot easier, wouldn't it?
I can do nothing.
Okay.
My taser's on the road.
We'll go get it.
What are you doing now? Looking for a...
I ain't doing nothing.
What are you doing now?
I ain't doing nothing. No.
Help me!
I like that. We shouldn't have resisted. It wouldn't have happened like that.
What'd you do with the chainsaw?
What f***ing chainsaw?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Get out of the woods.
Damn, you the 680 sprayed me too.
I was trying to beat them to saying
I'm a
tase
pure
them.
meth
Tase
head.
him. I was trying to beat Ken and...
What chainsaw? Probably actually.
Damn,
Probably doesn't
no,
remember.
why
Like,
am I-
huh?
Yeah.
Dang.
He's 15 though.
Dang.
And his next wife.
I was trying to beat him and get you to say taser before he did. Tase them.
We're gonna bring him up to the medic. Stay there for a second.
So they sprayed him.
Oh yeah, they sprayed him.
Someone like probably got him got him right in the eyes too.
Oh yeah.
So they're like, it burns. Like, yes sir, it sure does. Sit there and suffer now.
Stay there for a second.
ass up. 680 will spray me, you f***ing horse.
We didn't want to, we did.
Needles.
Now you can stand up.
You will put some gloves on before you start reaching in them pockets.
Yeah.
Them just meth head pockets. You might if I want to hanging
You
out.
might get stuck.
They're just talking trash. Screw you.
They'll give you Crocs. I tased him twice. I had him at gunpoint. Hey, over here.
He tased him twice.
Oh,
that,
God.
So it wasn't them choking him out. It was just him.
Yeah. And sprayed him.
I think I lost my damn phone in here.
But what happened in this situation? Like everybody lost flashlights, tasers, phones.
Literally.
Just like they're just like run through
Dude
the woods.
fell on a taser.
Loot's flying out their pockets, you know. Ain't nothing secure.
Lost my damn phone in here.
Hold on, I'll call it. Well, I ain't got my phone.
Hey, I'll call your phone. I ain't got mine neither. God dang. He done looted everybody.
It happened so quick. What'd you see him walking on the road?
Yeah, on the road.
I figured that back.
Oh! I thought that was my
Down
soda.
the road. That's how they
My
found
heart.
him. He was just walking off like didn't
My
nothing
heart
happen.
is in my crotch and I don't like it.
Oh, I'm big out of breath. It's that
Jeez.
southern humidity.
Oh, yeah. No, it's
Oh.
tough.
Hell yeah.
That's mutual aid right there. I chased him through the woods.
It's just the good old southern boys. They all got these one-liners they're just throwing out left and right.
I like how the captions hit that whole "what'd you do?" You know.
Don't get mad, but I stole the fire truck.
He stole the fire truck.
Yeah.
He stole the fire truck to come down here and arrest the guy, and they're like, "We need that to put out the fire."
Did you not see the whole woods on fire?
He never even dropped. And I hit him dead. Hey, can we fix that cuff now?
Oh yeah, boy, he's hurting. He's snotting and spitting and yeah,
he's in pain. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Lean up against that car.
Hell yeah, I want a damn picture. You see,
Oh, there's a victory.
Shut up.
Victory,
Shut
baby.
up.
Man, now they're just talking trash, dude.
Justin, you ain't getting nobody. That's an L. Y'all got an L.
Lean up against that car.
Hell yeah, I want a damn picture. You see,
Oh, there's a victory.
Shut up.
Victory, baby.
A victory, baby.
You shut up. Yeah, you run like a too. You had a gun, bitch.
So? You had a chainsaw, bitch.
So on a scale from 1 to meth head, how do you think he fits the part?
Oh man, he's off the scale, bro. This is straight 11.
Pure meth head.
You didn't stop me.
You got caught, didn't you?
Just because I failed, you fucking fat.
Got caught, didn't
You was hiding under a tree. You scared. Why you scared for? Now look at you.
I don't know why. This almost sounds like a bunch of homies arguing like in a video game lobby. You know?
Yeah, I know. I know.
Throw some balls.
Throw some balls. Try to set a family's house on fire.
It takes a real man to do that, don't it?
I ain't set no damn house on fire. I wasn't even there.
God, they're giving it to him. It takes a real man to catch a family's house on fire, don't it? I did with me. I wasn't even there.
I ain't set no damn house on fire. I wasn't even there.
I didn't set no goddamn house on fire.
On fire.
Yeah, boy, we out here.
It's on fire.
I'm so glad we went into the house when it was on fire to catch it.
Hey, we tried.
We did.
Did I get one of them wipes? Y'all worried about it?
Watch your head.
Once you get down to the jail, we'll get you one.
Yeah, he ain't getting no favors. Not a single favor.
Not a pour a bottle of water on his head. Nothing.
Nah, nothing.
He's just snotting and burning. There's like, yep, screw you,
Snot-
buddy.
A little snot, dirt, and leaves, crushed up on that face.
We'll get you taken care of when we get down. It's about a 10-minute drive.
Yeah.
Well, 15 because we ain't gonna be speeding. And,
Yeah.
We're gonna sit here and talk about it for at least another 20.
Yeah.
He's got
Damn eyes are burning out.
Thanks for the ride.
We got it.
They're all like high five. We got it. He's back there. Marbles! Should have set their house on fire, buddy.
We got him.
Thank God.
We got him.
Please don't let him out.
Nah, we'll charge him with attempted murder.
Yeah, he said this ends tonight. I woke up to a chainsaw through my front door.
Yeah, with attempted murder. Yeah, I mean,
Times 5 or however big the family was, right?
3. Well, 4 count the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, lock him up. I like how she said that too. Please don't let him out.
Yeah.
Don't let us go through this again. Lock him up.
What's your name? Brian. Who? He does my day, man. Come on, man.
According to jail records,
He's just like, screw it, man.
Brian Walker.
Pure meth head.
Wow.
Brian Walker was booked into Hamblin County Jail without bond and charged with 3 counts of attempted first-degree murder, 3 counts of aggravated assault, 3 counts of especially aggravated kidnapping, aggravated arson, and parole violation. According to prison records, the attempted murder and assault charges were dropped, and he was found guilty of the remaining charges and sentenced to 40 years in prison. He is serving his sentence at Bledsoe County Correctional.
Wow. All right. 40 years. Now, if only that did that to the pedophiles, that'd be great too.
No kidding.
I was literally
40
thinking
years.
that. He beat me
Heck,
to it.
Tennessee.
If only the
All right,
pedos
I knew it was
can get that kind of
Complex,
sentence.
and will be 82 years old when he is eligible for release in 2063.
2063 is when he's eligible for release. Yeah, well, he did go through the front door with a chainsaw, catching on fire. Yeah, good. This is the most southern body cam I think I've seen. It is. That was the most southern one. I love it too. Quit worrying about it. It's burnt. This dude will never have stress-related heart conditions. Yeah, that was great. I like that one. Thank you guys for sending that, and I appreciate it. If you like that one, leave a comment, leave a like, do all that cool stuff. Today's your birthday. Happy birthday. Say toast, my friends. I love you. See you next time. Bye-bye.
They tased him.
Oh, that like... Oh, he deserves all of that.
Exciting fire back again this week in the lead up for Starship Flight 13, but I'm really excited to dive further into the issues that SpaceX has likely been tinkering with after the less than desirable outcome after the hot staging in Starship Flight 12. I think you are going to love this. With that, we've got loads of awesome stuff to dive into around this unique Starfall mission that launched for the first demo this week, the attempt to save a very important telescope before it's too late, Rocket Lab in a cat and mouse chase in orbit, and wow, check out what Blue Origin are up to. Yes, this one is packed.
Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now.
Hey, Marcus House with you here, and let's first kick off with what everybody wants to know this week. How are things progressing with the upcoming Starship Flight 13 vehicles? After all, if SpaceX are really expecting this to be ready to fly in just a few weeks, we must be seeing plenty of action, right? Well, as a matter of fact, here we had the ship static fire stand rolling into Mega Bay 1 on Tuesday morning, and coming right back out with Ship 40 on top, all ready to roll to Massey's for a fiery campaign. NSF got some awesome shots of the flaps deploying before it moved down Highway 4, where Sean was waiting to catch it rolling by. We love having those front row seats for these monsters in action. It really is pretty crazy that the public can get this close to these events, and it's encouraged by SpaceX too. Once arriving at Massey's, it sat by the entrance for some time while they prepared the static fire pad. Once it was ready, they got it nice and snug there and jumped right into testing once the sun came up. Ship 40 was already frosted up with a load of liquid oxygen and just a little liquid methane. I think I'm going to follow my wife's advice. The flaps gave us a little wiggle there at the T-10 minute mark, and once the suspected T0 came, we saw like a 2-minute flashes just below the ship along with some vapor, so a successful igniter test
my neck.
Just 24 hours.
Let's pause this video for now. Let's transfer to cam art. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to take like a 3 minute stretch around and come back break. So I'm just going to put us on the be right back screen. Hold on, let me give you some music to remember me by. And we'll be right. And I am back again. I don't know, I'm weird. That's what I am.
Hours later, it was being filled again, but this time so that Ship 40 could perform its first static fire using a single brand new sea-level Raptor 3 engine. The flaps gave us another wiggle at the 10-minute mark, but this time it seemed to end up in a hold for quite a while. I've seen some speculating that this may have been intentional to simulate a coast phase before that in-flight burn would take place, which would make sense. Regardless, there it was finally roaring to life for a duration of about 15 seconds. Now, SpaceX's post that followed did say this test was full duration, which may have been an in-space deorbit burn demonstration, but this was as far into testing as Ship 40 would go during this round. The next obvious step should have been a full 6-engine static fire, but perhaps something showed up here in the test that still needs adjustments or an engine swap. Instead, here it was just yesterday, crossing into the afternoon on Friday, rolling back to the production site and right into Mega Bay 2. Now, the super heavy booster that goes with this one is still patiently waiting inside the Mega Bay for its static fire run as well, but we've not seen any action with that directly at this stage. We suspect it has its Raptor engines and grid fins installed in there, but we'll soon find out for sure. At Pad 2, where it will do that crazy full thrust static fire test, SpaceX still had water deluge testing going on early in the week, so it seems like they've been further tweaking that before they roll the booster out. At this point, we're just super happy to finally see that the ship has finally been out for at least some testing. After all, it rolled back from its initial cryo testing all the way back at the beginning of May. So yes, although it seems to have taken a while to see action for the vehicles for Flight 13, I think it's useful to clarify why this is likely to be. I've seen a number of comments from you guys thinking that they must be working hard fixing issues with the Super Heavy given the mess that followed the hot staging. Yes, indeed, the booster flipped in the wrong direction, which would have resulted in propellant sloshing around in unexpected ways, but was the fault of the Super Heavy demise simply just due to the flip being too fast, or the engines firing up too quickly with too much force? Or is it instead that the incorrect flip itself caused a lot of those following failures? That is a great question, and I realised after reading your comments that I had never really pulled this apart for you. Well, I really think you are going to like this, because everything to do with the rocket science and accuracy needed to pull off this almost magical looking hot staging process is so interesting. So sit back, nerds, this is really fun. First, let's visit what we know from inside of the version 3 Super Heavy booster. Yes, this is booster 18, which was scrapped after the side ruptured open at the Massey's test site, all due to problems that I'm not going to go back into right now. But what this did give us was an incredible view inside the now scrapped booster. As we could clearly see, there was no evidence of any sort of slosh baffles which were present inside the version 2 design. That protection was put in place to limit the damage that cryogenic liquid propellant causes when being hurled around in a hot stage flip. Yes, many tons of liquid smashing into the plumbing makes for a sad day, and that seems to have been what caused all sorts of drama in the Flight 12 Super Heavy aft. All of this suggests that SpaceX would be adding in new protection once again, and although it may well be true that SpaceX are reinforcing certain areas inside the Super Heavy version 3, we don't actually think that the booster itself was the main cause of those issues. If it had flipped in the intended direction as was designed, any of those incorrect forces that actually hit the Super Heavy in Flight 12 would have been very different. Let's focus on Flight 12's hot staging process. We see the booster flips to the left-hand side of the camera view here, which was certainly not what was expected. Slowing this right down as it moves off to the left of the camera, you can see the grid fin and the right side of the booster is getting hit hard by that exhaust, and that has made it spin out of control even faster in the wrong direction. Definitely, as they say, not nominal. So which way should we have seen it flip if everything went to plan? Well, just bear with me here because this can get a little confusing. Let's instead watch the last version 2 Starship to see a beautifully controlled flip in action. This was with Flight 11, and as you can see, it moves very precisely upward toward the leeward side of the upper stage in the direction of that black space above. By flipping in this direction, that means it has less angle to move through to get back to that horizontal plane relative to the Earth. Flipping in any other direction is a much bigger correction, and of course, SpaceX spent a number of flights trying to get that flip right. Starship Flight 9 was the first that demonstrated that blocked off area of the hot stage ring that actually allowed them to correctly flip the booster in that intended up direction. Likewise, Flights 10 and 11, terrific control. Now compare this with Flight 12, and what a lot of people may not realise is that Starship is now flying inverted. Yes, the windward side, or the heat shield covered belly, is pointing upward toward space, and the leeward side is angled toward the ground. That means that the desired flip direction of the booster would now be moving in the opposite direction. That, I suspect, is for a good reason. There are only 3 grid fins on this version of the Super Heavy, and one there is right in the middle underneath. If the Starship stack was not inverted this time, the exhaust would just smash directly into this rudder grid fin on the windward side, which would be the opposite of what they want. So in the end, now inverted, it should have flipped upward towards space, which would have had it moving in this direction from the point of view of the camera. Does that make sense? I hope so. Anyway, instead of flipping directly upward towards space, it whipped out here to the left. Okay, fine, but why would that be the fault of the upper stage Starship? Well, let's first listen to what Dan Hewitt, the host, says here just before the hot staging event.
Once we get to hot staging, those 6 engines on the ship are going to ignite. Essentially, those 3 RVAC engines will ignite first. Almost immediately after, just one of those central engines is going to ignite, and that's going to give the booster a bit of a kick, sending it in a known direction, followed shortly after by the other 2.
Yes, they certainly wanted this to flip in a known direction. Now watch the Starship engine diagram in real time during this rapid process. Remember from our video a few weeks back that the live streamed camera footage is delayed by roughly 5 to 6 seconds after what we see in the telemetry information, so we'll synchronise this again just so it matches up. Did you see that? The vacuum Raptor engines didn't fire up at the same time like we've seen on previous flights. If you just blink,
I hope it was a good bathroom break.
We see the bottom one on the windward side of the ship ignite first, then the vacuum engine on the left-hand side next along with the first sea level engine, and this leaves the last vacuum engine to fire up, followed by both of the 2 remaining sea level engines. So yeah, it may have only been literal milliseconds of difference here, but the fact that these 2 Raptor vacuum engines ignited here and here, that gave it an initial kick down and to the left of screen. If instead all 3 vacuum engines had fired up at the exact same time as was intended, they would have given it a nice even push backward, and then the first sea level would have kicked it down on screen toward space. Sure enough, we see the result very clearly. The top of the booster flips out to the left of the screen there, just as you would expect with that engine sequence. Again, this can be a tad confusing. We are looking down at the ship here in this view, but you need to imagine looking up at the ship's engines from below. The left engine is on this side, and when that fires up, the booster gets pushed out in the opposite direction. Likewise, the sea level engine that fires up first is up the top here on the leeward side of the ship, which should result in pushing the booster downward from the camera's point of view or upward towards space. Now, I can already see the comments saying that I have this logic backward. Comments telling me that if the top sea level engine fires first, that should push it in the same leeward direction. But no, take a look at the steep dome at the top of the booster. The exhaust is going to be smashing into this steep curved surface at an angle and run right down that dome. This flow is going to push the booster in the opposite direction. It seems confusing perhaps because it's quite unlike the effect of the blocked off section of the old hot stage ring, which caught the exhaust and pushed it in that same direction. If we then take a look at the shielding on top of Booster 19, by the way, you may notice that the additional steel on top of the forward dome is giving added protection to these specific areas during that hot staging process. I'll come back to that in a moment, but first something a bit closer to home. One thing I never really appreciated until running a YouTube channel full time is just how much personal information about all of us is floating around online. There's loads of these businesses out there these days called data brokers whose job it is to just collect collect information like your name, address, phone numbers, family connections, and a whole lot more. Then they package it together
This is
into
really
searchable
hard
profiles. That's
on my
one of the
neck.
reasons I've been using Delete
You
Me
weren't
for
kidding.
quite a while now, and they are sponsoring this video. They are a hands-free service that helps remove your personal information from hundreds of these data broker and people search websites, rather than spending countless hours tracking these sites down your...
Darth, theorist, rise.
What if the Force revived Yoda and Obi-Wan and sent them to Episode 1? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. If you enjoy deep dives into Harry Potter or Game of Thrones, check out our sister channels, Half-Blood Theorist and Three-Eyed Theorist. Links in the description. Master Yoda sits in the center of the Jedi Council chamber during a routine session about trade disputes in the Outer Rim when the Force surges through his entire body and silences every thought in his mind. His mouth stops forming words and his eyes lose focus, and the other Masters glance at him. Yoda says nothing for 3 full seconds. In those seconds, 900 years of accumulated wisdom reorganizes themselves around a single devastating realization. He has lived this day before. He knows exactly where he is. Senator Palpatine already holds his seat in the Galactic Senate, and Qui-Gon Jinn and his Padawan are already aboard the Trade Federation battleship above Naboo. The Clone Wars and the fall of the Jedi are a decade away, and he remembers all of it.
Master Yoda, are you all right? What happened?
Fine, I am. Continue, we shall.
He keeps the truth behind closed lips and lets the session proceed. Somewhere in the Force, he senses a second displaced presence, distant and moving, and he files that awareness away. Aboard the Trade Federation battleship in orbit above Naboo, Obi-Wan Kenobi opens his eyes and feels the Padawan braid hanging against his shoulder. He touches it with his fingers that belong to a body 30 years younger than the one he remembers dying in, and he holds his breath until the shock passes. He sits still and runs through the immediate priorities in his mind. He needs to keep Qui-Gon alive through Naboo. He needs to handle Anakin carefully, and he needs to address Shmi. The door opens and Qui-Gon steps through with 2 cups of tea.
You look like you've seen a ghost, Padawan.
Just meditating, Master. The Force feels unusually active today.
Qui-Gon studies him for a moment, then sets the tea down and takes his seat without pressing further. Hours later on Coruscant, Yoda walks the Jedi archives alone. He pulls Chancellor Valorum's political records first, then Senator Palpatine's, scrolling through decades of carefully constructed public service and finding exactly what he expects. Nothing. Every entry reads clean, and every association looks legitimate. The Sith Lord who destroyed the Republic has left no trace that any archivist could identify, and Yoda closes the files with the grim certainty that accusation without proof will accomplish nothing except alerting the most dangerous man in the galaxy. He needs years, patience, and he needs to identify the second displaced presence. That evening, in the small slave quarters on the outskirts of Mos Espa, Shmi Skywalker serves a modest meal to her unexpected guests. Anakin talks rapidly about pod racers and droids and his dreams of becoming a pilot, and Obi-Wan watches the boy from across the table. This child will grow into the most powerful Force user in galactic history. Anakin catches him staring.
And why do you look so worried?
Because I can feel how strong you are in the Force, and I know the galaxy is going to ask a great deal of you.
But how do you know that? You never saw me before.
The Force told me, Anakin.
Did it tell you to free my mother and me as well?
Yes, it did. And I'll make sure of that.
Anakin considers this. Later, outside in the cooling desert air, Obi-Wan stands beside Obi-Wan and raises a question he's been carrying since he woke up on the Federation ship.
Master, what would you say if the Force sent someone a vision of his entire future? Every choice, every consequence, everything that would happen across decades?
I would say the Force rarely gives such gifts without purpose. Why do you ask?
Just thinking aloud.
Qui-Gon studies his apprentice for a long moment, then turns back to the stars and says nothing. They all travel to Coruscant eventually. In the Jedi Council chamber on Coruscant, the boy stands alone in the center of the circle and faces the evaluation of 12 Jedi Masters. Anakin Skywalker holds himself steady while the Masters probe his thoughts and measure his fear. Yoda watches the boy and sees everything he saw the first time he conducted this evaluation. The raw power, the deep attachment to his mother, the fear of loss running through every layer of his presence. He remembers what he said last time. He remembers how those words sounded to a 9-year-old boy.
Afraid you are. Honest about it, you should be. Many people in this room will want you to become something specific. Tell you who to be, they will. Listen to them, you should. But choose for yourself, you must.
He's too old. Too much attachment. The code is clear on this.
made this mistake before I have. Reject the boy and lose him we will, to something far worse.
Before? What do you mean?
Understand you will. For now, trust me, you must.
Anakin Skywalker is accepted into the Jedi Order for training under Qui-Gon Jinn. On Naboo, the battle unfolds across 3 fronts, just as it did in another timeline that only 2 people in the galaxy remember. Gungans hold the planes, pilots assault the droid control ship, and in the depths of the Theed power generator, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn face the Sith apprentice Darth Maul. Obi-Wan has been planning this fight since Tatooine. He knows every corridor, every catwalk, and every second of the energy gate cycle that will separate him from Qui-Gon and leave his master alone against a killer. He has replayed this duel in his memory across a lifetime of exile, and he knows exactly where it goes wrong. The 3 combatants clash through the generator complex, and red and blue plasma leave scorch marks on the walls and floor as Maul fights with savage precision. His double-bladed saber spins in wide arcs that force both Jedi to give ground through the corridor toward the melting pit. The energy gates activate, and walls of plasma slam down between them. Qui-Gon drops to one knee and meditates while Maul paces behind the final barrier, and Obi-Wan, trapped 2 gates back, jams his lightsaber into the power conduit beside the emitter housing and twists it hard. The heat sears through his glove and burns the skin of his palm, but the gate in front of him overloads and collapses before the cycle ends. He sprints through the gap with his blade already moving and reaches Qui-Gon's side before Maul can deliver the killing thrust. Maul adjusts his stance and spins his blade in defensive patterns to cover both angles, but the geometry has changed and he cannot hold the center. Qui-Gon drives him toward the pit's edge with heavy strikes while Obi-Wan cuts off every escape route, and when Maul catches Obi-Wan's blade on the high guard, Qui-Gon kicks him squarely in the chest. The Sith stumbles backward over the edge and drops into the shaft with his scream echoing off the walls. Qui-Gon stares at the pit, then at Obi-Wan, then at the burned and blistered ruin of Obi-Wan's right hand.
Those reflexes, that timing, you knew exactly when those gates would cycle.
Yes, Master. There's a lot to explain.
What happened to you, Obi-Wan?
I'll tell you everything, Master, but not here. During the victory celebration on Naboo's palace steps, Yoda finds Obi-Wan standing alone at the edge of the crowd and places a small green hand on his arm. The noise of the celebration fades around them as the Force settles into recognition between 2 presences that have been reaching for each other across weeks of careful silence.
The second presence. You, it was.
And you're the first one I felt. How far back do you remember?
All of it.
For the first time since waking in a body 30 years younger than the one he died in, Obi-Wan exhales fully. He's no longer alone in this. That night, in a private chamber deep in the Theed Palace while the rest of Naboo celebrates, Yoda and Obi-Wan sit across from each other and begin building the framework for everything that comes next. Obi-Wan lays out priorities, tell Qui-Gon the full truth, investigate Palpatine through trusted political contacts starting with Padme, and fix how Anakin is trained. Shmi is to be freed, Master. Tusken Raiders capture her and torture her for weeks, and Anakin felt it through the Force. He found her dying in his arms. That moment was the first real crack. Everything that came after grew from it. But that's the old thinking. Remove the trigger, manage the outcome, and control his environment so he never faces the test. That is exactly what the Council did with him for 12 years, and it failed completely.
Luke, you are thinking of...
Luke walked straight into Vader's hands on Bespin against everything we told him, and he was right. We were wrong. You cannot engineer someone's choice for them. You can only make sure that they have the rules.
Oh no!
French me, we will. Because right it is. Treating the boy as a person, we should begin.
And then we give him the tools and honesty and support, and we accept that he might still choose wrong.
Choose wrong? He still might.
Yes. Neither of them has an answer for that. They sit with it for a long time, and then they start planning anyway. 1 year after the Battle of Naboo, in a quiet meditation room deep in the Jedi Temple, Obi-Wan tells Qui-Gon Jinn the truth. He tells him about the displacement, about the Force pulling his consciousness from a dead body on Tatooine and placing it back in his 25-year-old self aboard the Trade Federation ship. He tells him about the Clone Wars, about Order 66, about watching the Jedi Order burn while the galaxy applauded. He tells him about Anakin's fall, about the suit, about the name Vader. He tells him everything in a steady voice, and Qui-Gon listens to all of it without interrupting. When Obi-Wan finishes, Qui-Gon sits in silence for nearly a full minute. The living Force has always been his compass, and the idea that the Force itself reached across time to correct a catastrophic failure makes perfect sense to him in a way it would never make sense to someone like Mace Windu.
In this other timeline, the reactor on Naboo, did I die well?
You died in my arms. Your last words were asking me to train the boy, and I promised you I would.
And you kept that promise. I kept it. And I failed him anyway.
Qui-Gon reaches across and grips Obi-Wan's shoulder firmly. Then Obi-Wan tells him about Shmi. Qui-Gon agrees to help, but Obi-Wan tells him about another problem. He tells Qui-Gon about Dooku, that his former master, his beloved teacher, is already Darth Tyrannus, that he has served Sidious as a Sith apprentice, and that he orchestrated the murder of Sifo Dyas and helped build the architecture of a galactic war designed to destroy the Jedi from both sides.
I want to go to him. Master, he's already fallen. He has been in the darkness for quite some time now. I wouldn't be surprised if he had some part in this plan.
He was my master. If any part of him still was reachable.
I watched what he became. He built the entire Separatist leadership for Palpatine. He ordered the murder of fellow Jedi to cover the clone army's origin. He is gone.
Then I need to know that for myself.
Obi-Wan cannot talk him out of it. When they bring the matter to Yoda later that week, Yoda listens with his eyes closed and his ears low.
Stop him, we cannot. Ready for the consequences, we must be.
1 year later, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan travel to Tatooine under the cover of a routine Outer Rim patrol. They find Watto in his junk shop, struggling financially since losing his best pod racer and his most useful slave in the same week, and the negotiation for Shmi's freedom takes less than an hour. They bring Shmi Skywalker to Coruscant and help her find work in the lower levels of the city, a clean apartment with honest labor, and a life that is humble and quiet and entirely her own. They wait 3 months before telling Anakin, letting him settle into his training without the emotional disruption of reunion. When they finally tell him, relief floods his face first, and then something harder replaces it. He pushes the resentment down and thanks them and goes to see her that same afternoon, and Obi-Wan watches him leave. As he does, Anakin lets the unspoken question linger. Why didn't they tell him before? Why wait 3 months? In the years that follow, Yoda and Obi-Wan begin quietly reforming the Order. Yoda pushes the Council to reconsider its views on emotional attachment, arguing that emotions should be understood rather than suppressed. Progress is slow, but his influence gradually shifts to debate. Anakin's training reflects the change. Qui-Gon encourages him to speak openly about his fears, anger, and attachments rather than hide them. Obi-Wan sees the difference between teaching a student to suppress emotion and teaching him to manage it. The Council also expands across the archives for senior knights and begins assigning Jedi to more missions in pairs, reducing the isolation that often leaves individuals vulnerable to manipulation. Obi-Wan and Yoda quietly investigate another loose thread from the future. Both remember Sifo Dyas, the clone army, and the chain of events that led to Order 66. They know Dooku arranged Sifo Dyas' murder and that the trail leads to Kamino. They are too late to save him. When Obi-Wan reaches Obadiah, he finds only the wreckage of Sifo Dyas' shuttle, enough evidence to confirm the assassination. Within the year, Obi-Wan travels to Kamino. The Kaminoans welcome him without hesitation. As far as they understand, a Jedi ordered the army, and a Jedi has arrived to inspect it. They answer his questions freely, identifying Tyrannus as the man overseeing the project after Sifo Dyas' death, and provide access to the army's medical records. When Obi-Wan requests developmental samples for new independent review, the Kaminoans comply. The experimentation reveals small organic implants embedded in every clone from the earliest stages of development. The Kaminoans describe them as behavioral safeguards, but when the Jedi bring them to the healers in the temple, the healers reach a different conclusion. The chips are designed to override a clone's judgment and enforce obedience to a future command. It is not proof of Order 66, as the commands are buried deep within their code, and they cannot examine them without risking compromise of the chips. However, it is enough to confirm that the hidden mechanisms are real. The Kaminoans notify Tyrannus that a Jedi has taken an interest in the project and has inspected the clones, something he never authorized. Word reaches Palpatine soon after. He cannot openly interfere without revealing knowledge he should not possess. He allows the investigation to continue and begins preparing for the consequences. Over the next 3 years, Obi-Wan methodically gathers the evidence needed to prove the chip's true purpose. Additional examinations of Kaminoan developmental samples, financial records connected to the cloning project, and a growing trail leading back to Tyrannus all point toward the same conclusion. Someone deliberately embedded a hidden obedience mechanism into every clone in the army. Each piece alone proves little. Together, they form a pattern that is impossible to dismiss. Yoda and Obi-Wan present the compiled findings to the Jedi Council, who escalates the matter to the Senate. Palpatine responds immediately by turning the investigation back on the Jedi. A Jedi Master commissioned the army in secret, he points out, and another Jedi now claims to have uncovered a conspiracy surrounding it. Many senators find the argument persuasive and question whether this might be a power play to gain more power. The debate quickly shifts from the chips themselves to question of whether the Jedi are dragging them into an internal matter. The evidence remains difficult to dismiss, however, and while the Senate orders major reforms to the project, much of the original chip infrastructure survives the political battle. While this keeps the Jedi occupied, Palpatine adapts. He begins monitoring Obi-Wan and Yoda with renewed attention and accelerates his private cultivation of Anakin, building a personal relationship with the boy. The inhibitor chips become a known variable across the Republic military, but Palpatine's political maneuvering ensures the Senate's response falls short of removal. The program is no longer secret, but it is far from neutralized. From across the Jedi Temple training grounds, Obi-Wan watches a 15-year-old Anakin Skywalker walk through the courtyard with Supreme Chancellor Palpatine at his side. The Chancellor rests a fatherly hand on the boy's shoulder and says something that makes Anakin laugh, and to every other person in the courtyard, the scene looks warm and harmless. To Obi-Wan, it is the careful, deliberate positioning of the most dangerous man in the galaxy beside the most important boy in it. He raises it with Yoda that evening.
He's spending more time with Palpatine every month. The Chancellor is positioning himself as the mentor the Order refuses to be.
Tell Anakin the truth about Palpatine now. We cannot. Too young he is. Too volatile. Confront the Chancellor directly, he would. And Palpatine would learn everything we know.
So we just watch?
Carefully. We watch carefully.
The reforms continue gradually. Jedi
Going
are
up,
encouraged
up,
to understand and maintain their attachments rather than simply suppress them.
I still
And
can't
younglings
believe
receive
that.
training in emotional awareness alongside traditional Jedi instruction. The changes produce
The
Jedi
thing
who
about
are
the
more
baby.
honest about their feelings
In a
and
porta
better
potty.
equipped to handle
That's
them.
horrible.
Progress remains slow. Many masters oppose altering traditions that have defined the Order for centuries, and every reform faces resistance. Yoda pushes forward regardless, knowing from experience how much more dangerous stagnation can be. Qui-Gon has maintained coded contact with Dooku for 2 years, reaching out through channels only a former apprentice would know, and he has revealed nothing about the displacement or the foreknowledge while probing carefully for the state of Dooku's allegiance. What he finds surprises him. Dooku is disillusioned, bitter, and genuinely convinced that the Republic has rotted beyond repair and that the Jedi Order betrayed its own founding principles. His ties to Palpatine are real, but fraying as he grows more independent in his vision of galactic reform.
He's drifting from Palpatine. He questions the arrangement. He is bitter and dark, but he's questioning.
You are seeing what you want to see.
You told me I was going to die on Naboo. I didn't. Perhaps your future is not as fixed as you believe.
Obi-Wan has no clean answer for that because the statement is true. The future has already changed, and the very assumption he carries from the old timeline is suspect. He lets Qui-Gon continue his contact with Dooku. 3 years later, at 18 years old, Anakin Skywalker wakes screaming from a vision of his mother dying in his arms. He goes to her. He crosses Coruscant in the early morning hours and finds Shmi alive and well in her apartment in the lower levels, tending to a window garden and preparing breakfast. She welcomes him in and makes him sit and eat, and the visions stop. He tells Obi-Wan about the dreams the following day.
The Force sometimes shows possible futures, paths that happen if certain choices are made or certain events unfold. You went to her, you checked. That is what the Force wanted you to do.
Sometimes I fear... What if I lose her? What if she dies?
Anakin, death is a part of our lives. We cannot control it, no matter how much we wish otherwise. The future is always in motion. Fear of loss can drive us to make choices that bring about the very fate we seek to avoid. Trust in the Force and cherish the time you have with those you love. Do not let fear guide your path.
Anakin accepts the explanation and nods and returns to his training. But the experience has left something on him that will not wash off.
I need to take like a 5-minute break.
He felt his mother die.
Because I need to go use some of my mouthwash. So I will be right back to continue more of the diamond art after I'm done with that. Hello, I'm back, and I love you too. That was a nice message to come back to.
In that dream, and the fact that she is alive and safe does not erase the visceral memory of losing her. The fear of losing the people he loves has been stoked, and Palpatine, watching from his office across the city, notes this development with interest. Against the explicit wishes of Obi-Wan and Yoda and every instinct that should have kept him home, Qui-Gon Jinn tracks Dooku to a neutral world in the Mid-Rim and goes alone. He lands on a forested moon where neither Republic nor Separatist flags fly, and finds his former master waiting in the ruins of an old monastery.
The Republic is dead and wearing its own corpse as a disguise. The Senate is bought, the courts serve wealth, and the Jedi have become the enforcement arm of a system that exploits the very people they claim to protect. I am building something new, something honest. Come with me. And Palpatine, the man who commissioned a secret clone army with kill switches in the soldiers' brains, the man who arranged Cypher Diaz's murder to cover it, that is who you are building this new galaxy with. How did you know that? I never told you this. Because people I trust completely told me. You were my master. I can tell the difference between your conviction and your self-deception. You are deceiving yourself. The argument escalates. Dooku has watched Yoda and Obi-Wan's quiet reforms inside the Order from a distance for years. He truly believes the Order is too broken to be saved from within, and that is why total dismantlement followed by reconstruction is the only path to real change. Qui-Gon choosing the old ways over him feels to Dooku like a betrayal committed in the name of comfort. You would rather tend to a dying institution than face the truth of what it has become. That is the difference between us. It always has been.
The difference between us is that you stopped believing people can change, and you proved yourself right by stopping first.
Dooku had already made his choice long before this meeting. Sidious had been clear. If Qui-Gon could not be turned, he could not be allowed to live. Dooku activates his lightsaber, and the crimson blade fills the monastery with red light as the curved hilt settles into his grip with decades of practiced ease.
Qui-Gon, whatever happens next, I want you to know I do not want this.
The duel that follows is between a Sith Lord who does not want to win and a Jedi Master who knows he will probably not walk away from this room. Qui-Gon fights with everything he has, landing a deep cut across Dooku's left arm and forcing him to shift his stance twice. And for a brief moment, the outcome hangs in genuine balance. Then Dooku commits fully, drawing on a decade of dark side power, and the weight of it overwhelms Qui-Gon's guard in 3 devastating strikes. The final blow drives through his chest and drops him to the stone.
Forgive me, my apprentice. I didn't have any choice.
There's always a choice. You taught me that.
Dooku stands over the body for a long moment with his lightsaber deactivated and his hands unsteady. He leaves the monastery without looking back, and something fractures inside his chest, in the place where certainty used to live. This death marks the beginning of his break from Palpatine, gradual and unspoken, but real. Obi-Wan receives the distress beacon 12 hours too late. He takes a ship to the Mid-Rim world and finds Qui-Gon's body in the ruins of the monastery, laid out on the stone where he fell. Obi-Wan kneels beside him and presses his hand against his master's cold face and stays there without moving. He grieved Qui-Gon once before. He knows the shape of this loss and how the silence feels, and how the hours pass while you sit there inside a grief that has no edges. It wrecks him anyway. He activates his comlink.
Dooku killed him. He killed Master Qui-Gon.
Expected. This was not.
You said my future wasn't fixed. You were right. I just didn't think it would go this way.
The comlink goes quiet. Obi-Wan stays on the planet alone overnight, sitting in the monastery with Qui-Gon's body and the distant sound of wind through the forest canopy outside. In the morning, he wraps his master in his cloak and takes him home. Qui-Gon's death is attributed officially to an unknown assailant in the Outer Rim. Obi-Wan tells the Council the truth, and the Council debates an immediate strike against Dooku. But Yoda counsels patience because moving against Dooku prematurely reveals their hand to Palpatine. Mace Windu channels his anger into a parallel financial investigation he has been running independently for months, tracing credits and shell companies that connect separatist military contracts to entities uncomfortably close to the Chancellor's office. He is methodical.
I'm thinking about
and
calling it
relentless,
for the
and he
night.
gets
My
closer to
neck
something
is
real
hurting.
with every passing
This
week.
is something I'm gonna have to
Palpatine
practice
feels the
on.
pressure and responds with surgical precision. During a public
Kinda
Senate
getting
session,
tired.
apparent separatist infiltrators detonate explosives in the central corridor and open fire on 3 committee chambers simultaneously. Mace Windu responds with 4 Jedi and cuts through the attackers with devastating efficiency, but a secondary device detonates beneath the chamber floor as he clears the final room. Mace Windu dies in the blast.
All right,
The investigation
well,
he
I'm
built
gonna
dies
go.
with him,
I love
buried
you,
under the chaos of the
baby.
security crisis that consumes every headline for weeks. Palpatine delivers a eulogy for the fallen Jedi Master that is flawless in its grief and solidarity, and the Senate grants him expanded emergency security powers without a single dissenting vote. The Council has lost 2 of its greatest members